understand and analyze where all the police can improve its performance, visibility, service delivery to the citizens of Delhi, and we have consistently made efforts on that count throughout last year. We have got some encouraging results on account of those consistent efforts. We would still have a lot of things to plan this year to take the Delhi police even more forward. So I would like to request the Special City Crime to commence his presentation. As you see, and as I mentioned, 2018, our consistent focus has been on 3-4 key areas. One was, of course, as I mentioned, improve visibility with professional presence and response. Then another key focus area was to enhance the service orientation of the Delhi police, make the public handling at police stations more empathetic. One major focus area was to reach out to the community in whichever possible way we could, so that we could also sensitize them and enlist their cooperation in our efforts. We focused also on better soft skills and digital upgradation, and we identified certain critical priority areas last year, 2018. And if you see some of the important critical areas have been listed out here. Top, of course, was the safety of women and other vulnerable groups. We had some concern regarding street crime, so we focused on preventing street crime as well as improving our visibility on the roads. Anti-terror measures have all along been a priority for the Delhi police, and we worked hard on that front. Illicit firearms and drugs have also been an area of concern, mainly because we have to launch some kind of a coordinated endeavor with the help of the neighboring states. Then ensuring smooth flow of traffic has been a challenge on account of the various factors which impact the flow of traffic in Delhi. So we focused on education, enforcement as well as engineering solutions. As I mentioned, community participation was kept as an area of key priority so that we could enlist their cooperation, and we launched a lot of schemes on that front, not only to improve the perception of Delhi police as far as public is concerned, but also make sure that the public also participate and join with us in our effort at preventing crime in different areas. Vigilance, of course, was a key area. We made sure that as and when we noticed things which were not as far as the code of conduct, as far as the departmental code of conduct, as well as the other expectations from police personnel, as and when they faltered on that, we never hesitated to take action. Some of those actions were made exemplary, so others also learn from that. And welfare, motivation and morale being a key part of a uniformed force, we also work very hard on that. And we also launched several schemes, and hereafter I would request the Special City Crime to present before you the various schemes and other areas which we focused on last year.
In keeping with our priorities, several new schemes were launched. Some of these were 300 Raftar motorcycle patrols connected with the Central Police Control particularly was relating to women. Facilitation kiosks or e-kiosks were started with AIIMS and then Khan Market and finally at the IGI airport. And these were to facilitate general public they didn't have to visit police stations, and in their routine visits to these places, they could use these kiosks to launch any complaint or FIR regarding theft, vehicle theft, or loss of mobile articles, etc. And besides, they could download several other services, delivery performance and other things. This was another very important project to decongest the police station and make the case properties easier and better to store and easier to locate. And this has been implemented in all police stations of Delhi. The existing case properties have been digitized and unique barcode ID has been provided to it, and it is appropriately backed where it is maintained in proper condition. And now the location is very easy to find out, and the case properties can be easily retrieved and presented before the courts as and when required. Another effort was made, as you can see, centralized malkhanas. The vehicles seized by the local police were taken up a lot of space, and they were not presenting a good picture of the police station. So to clean the police station premises and create more space, centralized malkhanas were started in all the districts. And these malkhanas have been equipped with proper fencing, lighting, CCTV cameras, and round the clock deployment of staff so as to properly keep the case property. You can see the effort in the fact that more than 40,000 vehicles which were lying in the police station across Delhi have been shifted to these central malkhanas. Another very important step was taken during the year by starting a pilot project at selected police stations to separate the investigation function from the law and order. This was done with the objective to improve the quality of investigation and ensure that the pace of the investigation is expeditious and the cases are disposed of timely with the due legal compliances that are involved. And special trained manpower was selected for this. They were provided on the legal, forensic, scientific and technological field, and they were deployed exclusively to work on the investigation and the parallel work or the trial work of these cases in the courts, so as to provide better investigation and better court management of the cases of that we investigate. Another very important step that we took this year was that we have engaged Quality Council of India, an autonomous body, to conduct a public perception survey. A lead has long been fed as to how the citizens are taking the services and what views they have about it, how they should be improved, and what is the incidence of crime. So, in order to address all these issues, so as to get a public response on the efforts that we are making, and then according to the response and the needs and expectations of the people, we devise appropriate response so as to serve the citizens of Delhi better. This survey has been initiated. It will be conducted by Quality Council of India, and they will be using globally tested statistical tools for assessing our services. And over 30,000 Delhi citizens would be contacted during this survey, and the satisfaction level of the citizens would be assessed, and thereafter appropriate action.
I would also like to supplement about this public perception survey, and it gives us great pride to announce that Delhi Police is the first police force to have started this perception survey, and on the basis of our effort and endeavor, I think the other states are also being requested by the Home Ministry for conducting similar surveys. And if I recall, during my career in Delhi Police, way back in 1995-96, once a survey had been conducted when I was a district DCP. Thereafter, we have not been able to conduct some kind of a survey where we should be in a position to know exactly where all there are gaps between the police functioning and the public expectations, and we have to, after making an assessment of that kind of analysis, we have to then accordingly gear up our functioning and service delivery. So this is the basic purpose of that public perception survey, and we hope we will substantially gain from this in terms of what all we need to do in order to improve our functioning. So we hope that some very encouraging results are going to come to us in the coming few months. And another important sort of analysis which we have made is what kind of factors are actually contributing to crime incidents in Delhi. As I have noticed it over the years, Delhi police has all along been making efforts to improve its functioning over the years, and a number of such steps have been taken by successive commissioners of police which have paid dividends. However, certain critical crimogenic factors still remain in Delhi which do contribute to incidents of crime. So if you see, we have listed them out. There are many of them, but some of the important ones only have been listed out. Socioeconomic disparities, and the other one, the second aspect, is the high influx of migrant population. This has been an issue in Delhi, and of course we are trying to sort of work out how to find out which of this migrant population is actually the kind which is taking to crime and delinquency. So that process is going on, but it is a factor which is sort of concerning us. We are working on that. And proximity and location of colonies of the affluent and the underprivileged, that also is a factor where particularly youth of the underprivileged colonies, they do see affluence in front of them. That gives rise to ambitions, corresponding frustrations. So that kind of thing also is a kind of factor behind street crime. Then urban anonymity has been another issue. Loosening of social structures and family control has been an issue. Demographic complexities, as I said, migrant population, and we have a variety of demographic compositions in Delhi. So that has been found to be one of the factors behind street delinquency. We are working on that, how to address it. Then this megacity life issues, anger, rage, sometimes have contributed to sort of road rage incidents or crimes of impulse, suddenly on very small petty issues, major crimes have taken place. Here, of course, as we will see later, it's an encouraging sign that over the years, last 2-3 years, we have seen some kind of a decline in cases of road rage, which is an encouraging sign. It will come in the subsequent slides. Then NCR region provides that kind of hinterland for sort of antisocial elements and criminal elements to cross over to Delhi, commit crime, get back. So that was also another issue which fought for more focused interstate coordination. We have worked on that, as we will explain in the subsequent slides. And the last point which I thought we need to highlight is the porous borders, which offer easy means of ingress as well as escape to criminal elements from across the borders. So these are the issues which have remained, and as you will see in the subsequent slides, over the years, the total IPC crime has been steadily giving some kind of a increasing trend, which I would say is, as population grows and other crimogenic factors are there, this kind of rise is normally expected, and it should be considered as a normal kind of rise as far as general IPC crime is concerned. Another contributing factor over the last 2-3 years has been our popularizing those two apps which we have started. Delhi Police is the only police force to have started those two apps where people can register two categories of theft directly online. and that also is encouraged higher registration, and we welcome that. But as far as some of the critical sort of heads of crime are concerned, you could see that this is one head which has generally over the last 10 years showed some kind of a steady graph. You know, 500, 550, 560, sometimes it goes to 580, that was in 2014. So this is an indication of certain factors remaining, which we call crimogenic factors, which contribute to this kind of incidents of crime, and they, I would say, to a large extent would go beyond the normal policing efforts. So this is just to give an idea that, you know, certain kinds of crime will, on account of the critical crimogenic factors, will take place in Delhi. But we are working on that. So encouraging signal has been that 17 and 18 we have seen a little dip. But over the years there has been some kind of a steady graph in this. And on keeping these things in mind, we are chalking out our preventive strategies. We are working, you know, what are the factors, what are the areas affected, and accordingly we are trying to improve our policing presence as well as response. Now I think special CP crime can continue thereafter.
Prevention, as usual, is a key focus area for us. And during the year, we made efforts to identify the crime hotspots and crack down on known criminals or budding criminals, so that the crime is prevented before it takes place. For this, the beat policing was revamped, and higher visibility on roads, as well as a quicker and more effective response was expected from them, and that we made an effort to show that on the ground. Joint patrollings and integrated checkings were intensified, and another effort, which you will see following slides also, was that we tried to ensure expeditious and quality investigation, so that the criminals are identified and they are brought before the courts, and which will put another pressure on them not to indulge in any further crime. And a lot of technology use was initiated in detection and investigation of cases, as well as efforts were made to ensure and obtain as much community participation in this work so as to ensure better policing. Keeping these priorities in mind, these were the strategies that were initiated to prevent crime. Picket checking and patrolling, particularly the district DCPs were tasked, and they analyzed the crime pattern, and accordingly they deployed special patrolling and picket checking with an element of surprise after careful selection of the crime-prone hotspots. Then higher visibility of police on the streets was emphasized, and the district DCPs and additional DCPs were personally conducting group patrolling in the crime-prone areas. The budding criminals, emphasis was laid on identification of them, and about non-known criminals, the criminals who were there already on our record, a closer surveillance was mounted on them. The top criminals, the criminals who were on records, their records were regularly updated, and teams were specifically tasked to keep surveillance on them and take appropriate actions against them. Then you will see that we invoked MOCOCA in a big way during this year, and several notorious criminals were identified, and MOCOCA provisions were initiated against them. Also during the year, integrated patrolling continued with local police, PCR and traffic combining to make an impact wherever they conducted these patrollings and checkings. And it has been our experience that number of street crimes take place by criminals riding on two-wheelers. So the regular checking of two-wheelers with surprise time and place continues. And Raftar patrols, as I mentioned earlier, they were deployed for quick police response and effective police response. Emphasis was laid that organized crime should not be tolerated, and particularly drinking at public places. It was felt that generally this is a precursor to street delinquency in terms of street crime or some sort of regarding women's safety impacted. So a lot of action was taken regarding drinking at public places. And then community outreach programs, as I'll tell you further in the subsequent slides, that you intensified them and tried to seek more and more cooperation so as to get better information and improve our services. And then another key area for us was that the firearms which were being used in Delhi and which were being supplied to criminals in Delhi, people check on them and bring the incidence of firearms crime down to a considerable extent. Beat policing was revamped. ASIs have been deployed as beat in charges now. And another effect of creation of a separate wing of investigation from law and order has been that the beat staff is now relieved of the investigation work which is in the hands of specialists in the investigation wing, and they can concentrate on the beat policing and maintaining surveillance on known criminals, budding criminals, and keeping a close watch on them. In this connection, only new history sheets, a number of them were opened, and the beat staff was actively tasked to prevent crime by tagging them with specific criminals also, as well as specific areas which were their area of responsibility. Patrolling pattern similarly was redesigned, and after analyzing the crime pattern, the hot spots and dark spots were identified, and efforts were made with the concerned agencies to remove these dark spots. And about hot spots, we employed dynamic picket checking, group patrolling, and integrated vehicular checking with PCRs and traffic, so that the crime-prone areas, proper visibility is maintained and check on criminals is maintained. And similarly, the night patrolling exercise that is carried out, that was also similarly reorganized with respect to time, places, and early morning patrolling was initiated in a few areas as per requirement. And then bicycle patrols wherever required, like public places, in parks and other places, that continued with renewed vigor. This is the integrated checking with as a group by the PCR traffic and the local police with armed backup. And these are some of the photographs of the checkings that are being conducted at night. These are the motorcycle and bicycle patrols that are regularly sent. In fact, senior officers, DCCs also conducted patrolling on motorcycles to give a message to the public and to interact with the public. Beat level staff was specifically tasked to obtain criminal intelligence from the ground and target oriented action that would be initiated against criminals, which would they were also tasked for better prevention and detection. And in fact, the good work was immediately and instantly recognized, and the Commissioner of Police himself, in fact, immediately after a good work, the staff was called and they were rewarded and recognized for their work, and out-of-turn promotions and other rewards were also given, which improved their morale and motivation also. In this regard only, interstate coordination, we further strengthened them, and now interstate meetings at PH2 level are being held quarterly. Every quarter a meeting is being held. We divided that two are mainly for the law and order and the security arrangement regarding 26th January and 15th August as used to happen earlier. But two meetings are specifically targeted towards organized crime, particularly illicit arms and drugs. And a core level group is also made with the states that participate participate with us in these meetings. And the information sharing mechanism has been further strengthened and made more informal also, so as to target, go to the roots of where the crime is taking place. Go, for example, any recovery of drugs, any recovery of arms. We go backward as to from where that has procured, and in fact go through the whole chain to ensure that we go to the basic level from where the crime is starting and ensure that it doesn't happen further from there on. And the districts and the ranges, they continued with their border checkings and meetings, and concerted action was therefore taken against the interstate criminals. This was, as I mentioned, the core group that was formed last year in October 2017 with one IT level officer and one SP level officer for the core and operational groups for concerted action against illicit firearms and drugs. And as you will see, this paid rich dividends to us during the year. These were the vulnerable groups which we continued to take preventive measures so as to control any sort of crime happening in respect of these groups, that is the children, the women, the senior citizens, and the northeastern residents. For this, there was a renewed emphasis on crackdown on criminals. The active criminals were identified. The surveillance was mounted on known criminals. The jail releases were monitored. The history sheets and dossiers were regularly updated. And absent PCs, a lot of emphasis was placed on tracing them. And the proclaimed offenders, those who were absconding for a long time, were arrested. And this can be, you can see the results made, the efforts made yielded the following results. And during the year, total 91,291 persons were arrested as against about 85,000 last year. You will see and say that robbers and snatchers were only 9,187 as against 10,404 last year. But let me just tell you that this year the robberies came down by about 20%, snatching by another 18%. So effectively our action regarding arrest, our action was more in these heads, and similarly burglars also, which came down by almost 40-50%. So the detection rate in this is more, the absolute workout is comparatively higher. And in all other heads, murders, auto lifters, rape, and Arms Act and Excise and NDPS, as you can see, there has been a quantum improvement in these heads. So an effort was made to keep crime under control, particularly heinous crime and organized crime. And this is a pictorial representation. From 69,000 odd in 2016, we did arrested 85,000 criminals last year and 91,000 odd this year. As I mentioned earlier, during the year there was a focus on expeditious and professional investigation, which you can see last 2 years there has been a quantum jump in the cases that we disposed of from investigation during the year. Last year it was 2,64,000 and this year it has been 2,91,000. As against, you will see in subsequent slides, this year we registered 2,36,000 cases odd, and we have disposed of 2,91,000, effectively meaning we brought down the pendency in investigation by about 55,000 cases during the year. And this is in fact with almost the same staff that was there during the last 3 to 4 years. Last year we did the recruitment, the constables, about 7,000 constables were recruited, about 300 sub-inspectors were recruited. They are undergoing training. And we hope that during February, March this year, when they are inducted into active service at the ground level, we will be able to achieve much better results and show better performance on the ground. As you can see, as against 577 history sheets during the year 2016, new history sheets that were opened. Last year it was 923, and this year we opened further 1,131 history sheets, which was about 22% increase over the last year. Action against known criminals, as I mentioned, the criminals that are there on our record. Once they are on record, we know that they have a propensity to commit crime. And if we keep a control on them and they are not able to commit any further crime, or they are deterred, or they reform themselves, then the crime would come down. So in this context, new history sheets were opened, 120 absent PCs were traced, 168 criminals carrying rewards were arrested, and 1,848 POs were arrested. As I mentioned earlier, action under MAPOCA was emphasized, organized crime was targeted. 15 persons were arrested this year under MAPOCA, but more importantly, 17 new cases were registered and 14 new proposals have been initiated. With 38 more criminals identified for action, we hope to do even more substantive action under MAPOCA during this year to control the active criminals indulging in organized crime. As you can see, the efforts made yielded results in the form of 168 criminals carrying rewards being arrested during the year, as against 106 such criminals last year. And these 168 criminals included 48 criminals with a reward of more than 1 lakh, and 58 between 50,000 and 1 lakh, and rest about 60 or less than 50,000 reward. But 168 criminals during the year, that speaks of the effort made by the district as well as the specialized units to target these criminals. These were some of the dreaded criminals with rewards that were brought to book. R.S. Khan carrying a reward of 15 lakhs, Abdul Subhan Qureshi with 4 lakhs, Pratap Rana, Ajit Roy, Vijay Sehrawat, Sanjay Lakra, all these 2 lakhs each, and so on. This is the list of people, criminals with rewards that were arrested during the year. And in this context, it's a long list. Major gangs were targeted and busted during the year. The gang members were caught, which were the gangs whose members were caught this year. Rajesh Bharti gang, Janu Pelwan gang, Karam Area alias Kala gang, Kapil Sarwar alias Mandu gang, Naseeb gang, Nizam and Roka gang, Rohit Chaudhary gang, Fukre gang, Pradeep Solanki gang, Satya gang, Neeraj Bhavania and Kapil alias Nandu gang. These were the criminals who were targeted, the gangs which were targeted, and these were the results that were obtained. All these gangs, they were targeted and criminals were arrested. These were the sensational murder cases solved during the year. In fact, we issued a very high percentage of murder cases solved during the year. And it's a long list again. And these were the dacoity and robbery cases solved, the major ones. Besides this, as you can see, the arrests in local and special laws, that is the organized crime particularly, further improved by about 18% during the year, as against, which was on a base of 38% increase of 2017. It was further improved by 18%. As you can see, Excise Act cases registered, another 11% to 2,967 cases, as against 2,688 last year and 2,284 in the previous year. The recoveries, the cases reported as well as the persons arrested, all showed a good detection and increase. And as I mentioned earlier, against 23,000 persons arrested for consumption of liquor at public places. In 2018, about 34,000 such persons were arrested, which was an increase of about 46%. And a total of 3,000 criminals arrested under Excise Act. In the NDPS Act, as you can see, a sustained effort has been made target them. And as I mentioned, we are now going beyond the persons we arrest in Delhi. We go back from where the drugs were procured and try to go to the source with the time we can track them. And we are enlisting the support of our neighboring states as well as the states from where these drugs are sourced, so that we target the sources and ensure that the drugs they don't come to Delhi. In this regard, the sections, as you can see, 493 cases last year, showing a increase of 36% over the previous year, that is 362 in 2017, and which was 289 in 2016. These were the cases reported and the persons arrested, which also showed a substantial increase. And the biggest jump was in recovery of smack heroin, which was almost 3 times what we got. With more than we recovered more than 4 times almost from 2017, as well as opium also a substantial jump. And we arrested 662 criminals as against 491 last year in NDPS Act. And this was the recovery of heroin, as I mentioned. Another target area was priority of 2018 was recovery of firearms. And as you can see, against 957 such cases last year, this year we had 1,540 cases, with recovery of 1,900 odd arms as against about 1,400 firearms last year. Increase of about 38% with arrest of 1,901 persons. This was a substantial action in Arms Act, and these were the cases registered and the criminals arrested, as I mentioned, which is about 66% more than last year, and built on a base of 53% increase last year. Similarly, recovery of firearms, substantial improvement. And all these sustained preventive measures impacted crime in the manner as you can see. Dacoity cases, attempt to murder cases, robbery cases, riot cases, and rape cases, they all showed a decline. And if you see, all the 7 heads of heinous crime, when compared to 2016, all of them still showed a decline. Compared to 2016, accumulative of about 32%, and compared to 2017, a total of about 11.72%, a total decline in the heinous crime. As Commissioner of Police earlier mentioned, the total IPC crime increased by 6%, but that was in, not in heinous crime, that was in other crime as property theft and MV theft, which were the 2 heads that showed increase this year. But the heinous crime, that showed a decline of about 12% during the year. Snatchings were down by about 18%. Burglaries, as I mentioned earlier, 60% down compared to last year. And the offences against women, like molestation of women, insult to the modesty of women, in fact even abduction cases also, they came down. As you can see, the increase in this year has been MV theft and other theft, and overall increase is 6% this year in the total IPC crime. In summarizing it, the heinous crime declined by 11.272%, with dacoity, rape, robbery, attempt to murder, and riot coming down. The heads of crime against women, all of them declined. Molestation of women, insult to modesty of women, as well as rape. And similarly, the street crime also, the snatching, road robberies, as well as pickpocketing, they all showed a decline, with a comparative increase in arrest in IPC cases of about 6%, and increase in detection rate of total IPC by about 2%. Despite increase in the detection rate, was further improved by about 2%. This is a pictorial representation of decline in heinous crime from 7,900 in 2016 to 5,400 in the year 2018. This is a significant this shows the type of efforts that were made, and the incidence of use of firearms in crime, that has come down substantially again this year, on a drop of 7% last year. This year we had a further drop of 11.32%, and in 752 incidents only crime firearms were used, as against 848 such incidents in the year 2017 and 912 in 2016. Crime against women, similarly, all three heads raised, molestation of women and outraging the modesty of women. These three heads combined showed a further decline of about 3%. Road rage is one area which we can say that shows the type of visibility that was there on the roads, and the type and the quickness of response that was made available to the public on their call, which reflected on road rage cases coming down substantially by about 24% during the year, and this was further from 66 to 64 to 49 during the year. Besides prevention and control on crime, focus was made to improve the detection of the crime that was reported, and for that the area-wide incidence of crime was analyzed and mapped, and accordingly possible escape routes were identified, and pickets were deployed accordingly as per the time and the crime-prone location, and special anti-snatching teams were constituted in police stations and districts. Primary was emphasized in a big way, along with eyes and ears, and they were used as force multipliers. And beat officers and picket staff were specifically tasked for detection, so as to improve detection also, as well as prevent further cases. And the result, as you can see, in the detection rate, IPC crime improvement of 4% in the year, built on 87% of last year. It was we improved 16% last year, and we further improved by 4% to 91% this year. Dacoity and kidnapping for ransom, 100% workout, and with a very high degree of workouts in murders, attempts to murders, robberies, riots, and rape incidents. And similarly, non-heinous crimes, snatchings by 57%, burglaries at 31%, and overall 36.53, which was an increase of about 2%, improvement of about 2% over the last year. Last year itself was quite significant, which was about 8% improvement, and on top of that we improved further by about 2% this year. This is pictorially what we have tried to achieve during the year. The heinous crime registration has come down, as well as the solving rate, workout rate has improved to 91%. When we analyze murders during the year, we can see that about 21% of the murders were as a result of sudden provocation or previous issues, and passion related were 11%, enmity and disputes accounting for providing motive for 38% of the murders, and for the last year also 11% of the murders were crime related, with other than unidentified dead bodies accounting for about 90%. Murder, if we analyze the incidents that were happening and the prevention efforts that were made, the migrant population, as we already mentioned, settling in unauthorized colonies, and disputes in rural belts. Underprivileged clusters, they have pretty huge fights, and sometimes that results in them taking law in their hands. And the mega city stress, another thing reaction, on sudden provocations also is the resulting in a lot of such incidents happening over trivial and minor issues. But we try to maintain higher visibility in vulnerable areas and surveillance and checking of identified criminal elements. And also, significantly, that initial stages of reporting of dispute, we try to initiate effective preventive action so that it doesn't escalate any further. In street crime, robberies, again, the same thing, the number of incidents of crime has come down, while the workout percentage improved to about 87%. Snatching also the same same trend. There was a special focus on street crime during the year, which we hope to continue this year also. And the time-wise, area-wise mapping of incidents and all the ticket checkings with PCR and traffic and effective patrolling and anti-snatching teams. These all resulted in the results, these all contributed to the results that we achieved in the street crime. In offences against women, these were the results this year. We solved 95% of the rape cases, and in fact, after the recent amendment in the Criminal Procedure Code, now the disposal is also even quicker. The new police has earlier also been emphasizing on quick investigation of these cases. Now there is even an increased emphasis on completing the investigation as early as possible and charging these cases in the court. When we analyze the relationship of the rape victim with the accused, we find that the most significant factor that comes up is that the unknown and the stranger this year were only 2.5% of the cases as the actual consequence side. This is one factor over which there has been a constant emphasis target, that the various community participation schemes, in fact, Shakti scheme, as well as the type of effort that has gone into having high visibility on roads and effective preventive patrolling, that this menace is being brought under control. And during the year, only 2.5% of such cases were involved unknown persons or strangers. The rest all got various relationships with the victim. In fact, during the year, 550 cases were those in which accused were in living relations or accused to marry. This is a pictorial representation of the rape victim and accused relationship. And relatives about 12%, neighbors 16%, family spread about 43%, and unknown persons or strangers less than 3%. And this is, as I mentioned earlier, the preventive efforts that we made in this direction who are better visibility, community participation schemes, which have shown these encouraging results. That from 3.57% in 2016, we came to 3.36% in 2017 and further 2.5% in 2018. Molestation of women cases registration showed a similar downward trend. 3890 persons were arrested. Similarly, 509 IPC insertion notice to women cases. Downward trend, 676 persons arrested. MV theft remained a cause of concern, and it showed that 44,000 cases were registered during the year, showing an increase of 13% during the year. And these were analysis by the type of vehicles that were stolen. About 75% of the vehicles stolen were two-wheelers and 18% were cars. A number of efforts were made to prevent these crimes, and these included identification of affected places along with crime zone, so that the staff would be properly deployed in these areas. Barriers and nakas are deployed in affected areas. Then a request has been made to the manufacturers to install security devices at the factory or showroom itself. The stolen vehicles records have been computerized and parking attendants have been sensitized, and a lot of effort has been made to make people aware about the type of precautions they could take, and so that these crimes could be prevented. And public awareness campaigns were launched through newspapers, FM channels, etc. With increased crime, however, we maintained our action, which was improved detection also, and we showed better detection as well as better arrests of auto lifters during the year. And about 6,751 auto lifters were arrested, showing an increase of about 20% during the year. We have taken all the possible action we are trying to take all possible action to prevent these thefts. But besides the police, there are other issues which need to be addressed, like non-availability of parking places in residential areas, inadequate neighborhood security. We are trying to improve neighborhood watch team and other things so that these places are made secure as a community as a whole. And plus inbuilt safety devices, we are trying to emphasize on manufacturers to provide them. And maybe the insurance companies could also incentivize the installation of safety gadgets in vehicles. This habit would further improve. And we are trying to educate more and more owners of motor vehicles to install security devices and join us in preventing this crime. Women's safety remained the core focus area for us during the year 2018, and a number of efforts were made in this direction during the year. Efforts were made to popularize Himmat Plus app, plus a lot of gender sensitization and mindset reformation exercise was carried out through our Shakti program, which I covered subsequently. Dark stretches were identified and efforts were made to improve the lighting on these stretches in coordination with the civic agencies. And efforts are being made with other concerned departments of the state government to ensure last mile connectivity. Social Welfare Department has been contacted for initiating programs for better awareness and education in slums and places recording higher incidence of crime against women. And inclusion of self-defense as a part of school curriculum is another suggestion that we are making. Shakti was a key program during the year. A lot of emphasis was laid on it. And as you can see, during the year, 1,419 such programs were conducted, in which over 2.77 lakhs women and girls were trained. And Delhi Police, in fact, entered Limca Book of Record by training, having trained more than 9.8 lakh women and girl child so far in this program, starting from 2002.
महिलाओं और बच्चियों की सुरक्षा और सशक्तिकरण दिल्ली पुलिस की सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता रही है। आज जब महिलाएं विकास के पथ पर पुरुषों के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर चल रही हैं, ऐसे में कुछ असामाजिक और अपराधी तत्वों द्वारा उन्हें सड़क, ऑटो, टैक्सी, बाजार, ऑफिस जैसी जगहों पर भी अश्लील हरकतें या पिक पॉकेटिंग, मोबाइल पर्स स्नैचिंग जैसी हरकतों का सामना करना पड़ता है। दिल्ली पुलिस द्वारा 2017 में सशक्ति अभियान की पहल की गई। सशक्ति का उद्देश्य महिलाओं और बच्चों को जागरूक और संवेदनशील बनाने के अलावा उनमें उस आत्मविश्वास का भरना भी है जिससे वे अपने अंदर छिपी असीम क्षमता और शक्ति को पहचान सके। सशक्तिकरण योजना के अंतर्गत महिलाओं को सेल्फ डिफेंस ट्रेनिंग जैसे कि बिना हथियार के लड़ना, उपलब्ध वस्तुओं जैसे कि दुपट्टा या स्कार्फ इत्यादि की मदद लेना, हथियार या एसिड अटैक से स्वयं की रक्षा करना सिखाया जाता है। सशक्ति प्रोग्राम महिलाओं एवं बच्चियों के लिए अलग-अलग ऑफिसेज, कॉलेज, स्कूल, रेसिडेंशियल एरिया और स्लम एरिया में चलाया जा रहा है। इतना ही नहीं, इसके अंतर्गत टीजिंग या एसिड अटैक सर्वाइवर्स और रेप विक्टिम्स में आत्मविश्वास भरने के लिए स्पेशल क्लासेस भी चलाए जा रहे हैं। यकीन मानिए, महिलाएं मानसिक और शारीरिक तौर पर पुरुषों से कहीं अधिक सशक्त हैं। बस जरूरत है तो सिर्फ झिझक मिटाने की और अपनी शक्ति को पहचानने की। खतरे का अंदेशा होने पर पहले अपनी आत्मरक्षा करें, फिर जल्दी ही उस स्थान को छोड़कर पुलिस हेल्पलाइन या हिम्मत ऐप की मदद से रिपोर्टिंग करें। दिल्ली पुलिस आपकी सेवा में सदैव तत्पर मिलेगी। अपना सहना ना छुड़ना, दिल्ली साथ। जय हिंद।
In this sequence, further to Shakti, all women PCR vans have been introduced, and now 15 PCR vans are manned by all women staff. 46 women police officers have been trained for this job specifically. Similarly, the safety of other vulnerable groups has been a priority for us, and there is an institutionalized mechanism for safety and security of senior citizens. There is a dedicated cell in crime branch, as well as there is a state level advisory body which runs the crime STML. There are similarly district level advisory bodies also, as well as volunteers committee at police station levels. During the year 2018, a cumulative 5,26,000 visits were made to the senior citizens, and about 3.96 lakhs telephonic contacts were made. And distress calls attended were 686, and security audit was done in respect of 34,000 senior citizens. At present, 35,000 senior citizens are there on record with us. These efforts, as you can see, and further to our efforts at generally preventing crime, the heinous crime against senior citizens showed a further decline compared to last year, and it declined by about 31.46% during the year 2018. Similarly, a number of initiatives were taken for children's safety also. Child-friendly rooms have been introduced in police stations, and juvenile welfare officers have been deployed after proper training. And special efforts are made by ASPO of districts and crime branch in solving cases of missing children. Pehchan is a continuing social outreach program, a strategy to trace missing children, and 1,89,000 children have been photographed under this scheme so far, so that whenever a child goes missing, there is a photograph available to trace the missing child. In Operation Smile and Mila special drive was being conducted, and this continues this year. And so far, under these schemes, 4,636 children have been restored to their parents. And overall, 4,007 missing children were traced during the year by the district police as well as the ASPs. Similarly, in our outreach to residents from Northeast, the district PCCs and nodal officer and joint senior as coordinator, there is a efforts continue, and there is a special helpline 1093 as well as a dedicated Facebook page for this purpose. And in fact, recently these vans have also been launched in this regard. And this has shown results in the heinous crime against northeastern residents also further coming down by about 17%, continuing the same trend as last year. And this year, 19 such cases were reported, as against 23 last year. In our community outreach program, a number of initiatives were taken. Some existing initiatives were further strengthened. Prahari being a flagship scheme to associate security guards in the policing work. And in this scheme, so far 19,810 Praharis have been enrolled so far, who've been provided training as well as security kits. And they have helped us in solving a number of cases during the year. And wherever this has happened, the Praharis are being promptly rewarded by the district officers so as to further motivate them and keep up their morale. Police Mitra scheme is an existing scheme to enlist public cooperation, and 1,862 police Mitras have been cooperated within this scheme so far. And they assist the local police in picket duties, traffic management, patrolling, collection of intelligence, and law and order arrangements. And here also, the good works done by them are recognized and rewarded. Nigavan is a shining example of proactive community policing initiated by Delhi Police. And with the help of the public, RWAs and the Market Welfare Association and other individuals, so far 2.23 lakh CCTV cameras have been installed in the city so far. And they have been of immense use in prevention and detection of crime. Eyes and Ears scheme with the helpline 1090 is continued, and periodical meetings by police staff as well as the district officers are being held to obtain any sort of information relating to crime or suspicious movement of criminals and so on. Neighborhood Watch scheme is one of our earlier schemes, and a lot of effort is being made in this direction to make crime-free communities and secure the neighborhoods. Nirgeek is a community policing scheme in which the police makes a proactive effort to visit the schools and interact with the girl child to build up a rapport with them and sensitize them about basic precautions to be taken. And during the year, 3.13 lakh students participated in these programs. Go to School is another initiative to educate children about road safety as well as safe habits while they are on the internet. And this intensive integrated program is being conducted with children, teachers and parents. Shishtaachar is a program aimed at harassment of women at public places to control this menace. And in this, women police are deployed as decoys in public places, and legal action is taken against the miscreants. Yuva was another scheme which was carried on with great vigor during the year. And 19,000 children participated in 809 sports events during the year, as well as special vocational skill courses were organized, 117 of them, in which over 5,000 children participated.
विषयों पर न जाने, हुनर को अपने जो पहचाने, पहचानो जो अपने हुनर को, जो हाँ उसका दुनिया माने।
युवा दिल्ली पुलिस की एक खास पहल है 17 से 25 साल के युवाओं के लिए, जो विकल्पों के अभाव में अपराध की तरफ बढ़ सकते थे। दिल्ली पुलिस कौशल प्रशिक्षण द्वारा न सिर्फ उनके भविष्य को उज्जवल बना रही है, बल्कि दिल्ली को सुरक्षित रखने में एक नया आयाम जोड़ रही है। दिल्ली पुलिस की ये पहल प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना के तहत दिल्ली पुलिस एवं राष्ट्रीय कौशल विकास निगम का संयुक्त प्रयास है।
अधिक जानकारी के लिए दिल्ली पुलिस की वेबसाइट www.delhipolice.nic.in पर लॉगिन करें। दिल्ली पुलिस का प्रयास, हुनर हो युवा के पास।
Police Central was another initiative started during the year to educate school children in safety, do's and don'ts, as well as educate them about the police, its functions and duties. There was a increased focus on friendlier interface at the police station, and public facilitation officers were deployed in all police stations, and they were tasked to as the first point of contact for persons coming to police stations. Child-friendly police stations have been introduced in 30 police stations so far, and to make the police stations child-friendly. And in this effort to come more near to the public and provide better services, 15 new police stations, 7 new subdivisions and 1 new district has been started with effect from 1st January this year. A new district outer node has been created from the existing Rohini and Northwest districts to balance the workload of heavy police stations and to improve police stations. These have been some of our digital initiatives that we've taken and further worked upon during the year. And besides these apps and in the crime and criminal management, these are the further steps that we are taking. That is the automated fingerprint identification system, computerized remote identification of suspect system, Proteus, SafeNet, facial recognition system is something which we have introduced this year. And Nippon is another effort, which is a website for self-learning and development. Himmat Plus app has been revamped, and it's a safety app for women integrated with the police's emergency response system. It has been now made more user-friendly, available in both languages, English and Hindi. Internet connection is not required for SMS and other things. Advanced interface and seamless to operate, easier to register, and integrated for quick response, mode of taxi auto drivers. And so far, 1.77 lakh downloads have happened for the app. This is, in a nutshell, the users' response to our app so far. As you can see, the loss report has logged over 84 lakh users so far in about 4 to 5 years that it has been in operation. Similarly, ECC, Himmat Plus app, Theft app, about 1.46 lakh FIR, character verification reports, property theft app, another 3.02 lakh FIR lost. This shows the efficacy and the effectiveness with which these apps are being used by the citizens. Licensing continued, it's our public interface unit, and its service delivery needs constant improvement, and efforts are being regularly made in this regard. These all permissions and requirements regarding hotels, discotheques, cinema halls, meeting housing, swimming pools, private security, etc. are now digitally available, and these can be applied and obtained online. Law and order continue to be focused, and during the year we handled 8,594 arraignments. All the major arrangements were handled smoothly. The district staff and law and order staff, I think, should have treated with meticulous planning and pre-event negotiation. And the concept initiated last year with officers level handling of all major law and order situations. That was further continued this year and reinforced. I now request
there was no terror-related incident in Delhi. The steps which we have been taking for combating terror included expansion of SWAT bases, give better reach for SWAT teams within Delhi. This year we increased the number of SWAT bases from 1 to 4, and 5th one is in the pipeline and will be added very soon. Intelligence collection and conducting operations against terror outfits continued, and we conducted a number of successful operations in coordination with central intelligence agencies as well as other state police forces. As a result of which, many attempts were stopped in their tracks. In this regard, regular interstate coordination meetings were held. We also conducted security audit of various vital installations in Delhi and followed them up with regular mock drills. The special cell also worked with the district police for intensive tenant verification, checking of cyber cafes, guest houses, hotels, as well as sensitization of second-hand car dealers and cannabis stores. This year, in August 2018, the 10th August 2018, all-women SWAT team was launched by Honorable Home Minister. This is the first of its kind in India where all-women SWAT team has been launched. These girls have been equipped with AK-47, MP5, machine guns, Glocks, as well as corner shot devices and night visions. And they have been specially trained in Krav Maga, which is a self-defense technique used by Israeli Defense Forces. 30 Prakram vans have been deployed across Delhi. They are located on selected vulnerable and strategic points comprising vulnerable high footfall areas and iconic buildings. These vans are GTRS enabled and are fitted with Pan Delhi wireless communications. The drivers and are NSD trains, and NSD trained commandos have been deployed in these PCR vehicles. They would be the first responders in case of any attack till the reinforcements in form of SWAT or NSD hit teams arrive. This year, we also arrested a total of 11 major terrorists, which included 2 of Indian Mujahideen. They included Abdul Subhan Qureshi alias Tokir, on which a reward of 4 lakh was declared, and also Arif Zuleh, on whom a reward of 15 lakhs had been declared. We also arrested
Mahadevaय शिवाय सतत नमः। स्त्री शक्ति ब्रह्मांड की समस्त ऊर्जा का स्रोत है। आज जल थल व नभ पर स्त्री शक्ति का परचम लहरा रहा है। जीवन की प्रत्येक विधा में, चाहे वो खेल हो, उद्यम हो, पुलिस हो, प्रशासन हो, महिलाएं पुरुषों के कदम से कदम मिलाकर चल रही हैं। SWAT कमांडो अब सिर्फ पुरुष नहीं, सभी मिथकों को तोड़ते हुए दिल्ली पुलिस ने किसी भी राज्य पुलिस का पहला SWAT कमांडो दस्ता तैयार किया है। असीम शारीरिक और मानसिक शक्ति और युद्ध कौशल से सशक्त ये दस्ता urban warfare, anti-terrorist operations, armed combat, hostage situation जैसी विषम परिस्थितियों में लड़ने और विजय प्राप्ति में दक्ष है। NSD द्वारा ट्रेन किया हुआ ये दस्ता आज दिल्ली पुलिस में समावेश को तैयार है, और ये इस शौर्य गाथा की सिर्फ शुरुआत है। जय हिंद।
This video showcased the capabilities of our women's SWAT team. Continuing on on the previous slide. We also arrested one Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist, two terrorists from ISIS-backed outfits, ISIS-inspired outfits, two leaders of KCP, one self-styled commander-in-chief of KCP, Poirin Mehdi, and another KCP PWG chairman who was arrested. In a joint operation with J&K police, 3 terrorists were arrested who were carrying grenades and pistols and other weapons, and they were trying to reach Delhi, and they were arrested in Srinagar. Coming to cybercrime, which has been a focus area for Delhi police. This is the broad structure which we have established within Delhi police to combat cybercrime. At central level, there is a cybercrime unit which is looking into pure cybercrime cases, which are dependent upon cyberspace availability, like ransomware, etc. The central unit also looks at big cyber-enabled crime cases, cyber intelligence, forensics, strategy and outreach, awareness, and cyber training. The district level cyber cells have been established to look into cyber-enabled crime cases, cyber complaints, basic cyber forensics, district level cyber awareness, district level cyber training. The police station level cyber teams look into cyber complaints, provide basic cyber support to all IOs, irrespective of whether they are limited to specific cyber crime cases, but also to all kinds of crime cases where cyberspace has been used. It also includes basic cyber forensics as well as police station level cyber awareness. In order to build the capacity for our investigators, various training programs on collection of digital evidence have been conducted. Lectures by cyber experts on investigation of cybercrime cases were done, and training regarding standard analytical methods was provided. In addition to this, cyber safety awareness programs were conducted. Cyber safety and digital awareness program for senior citizens was organized in Silport Auditorium, which was attended by around 2,500 senior citizens. Similarly, a cyber safety awareness program was conducted in Lucky Stadium at North Campus, which was attended by 3,000 students. In order to inculcate cybersecurity awareness amongst children, 1,280 school computer teachers have been trained from 1,116 schools in Delhi, who have been using cybersecurity material prepared by Delhi Police as well as MHA for improving the cybersecurity awareness amongst children. The cybercrime unit has been organizing regular trainings for officers posted in different police stations. A total of 532 police personnel were trained this year. Case studies on different cases was taught to them, and experts from various domains are regularly providing them training. The district cybercrime cells have been equipped, and specially trained sub-inspectors have been provided in each district, as well as forensic tools including memory forensics and smartphone forensics have been procured for the district cybercrime cells. Some of the important cybercrime cases solved this year include the hacking case which involved theft of 438 bitcoins by Bitcoin exchange, which was insider trading, where the chief scientific officer of this company had stolen this. The unit also busted the 10 call centers which were engaged in international technical support scam in Delhi area. Hacker groups targeting Indian websites with support from across the border were also arrested. And a number of cases which focused on crypto Ponzi cases, the MLM frauds were also solved. Coming to the next slide, which talks about how we are trying to reorganize our cybercrime combating capabilities. this year. We are focusing on 5 broad areas. The threat analytics, which is providing actionable intelligence to our teams on ground to take action in the cyberspace. For this, information is being collected from forensic data, crime data, threat feeds, and indicators of compromise from various complaints and cases on a big data analytic platform. We are expanding our forensic capabilities from already available memory and mobile forensics to also include network forensics, malware forensics, and cryptocurrency analytics. A number of new awareness programs are being built into our capabilities, as well as we are developing a cyber range to train our manpower, where simulated environment will be provided to our police personnel to learn how to combat cybercrime cases and investigate them. And to supplement this, our investigation unit is being created with trained IOs with dynamic linkages with cyber of ID and I4C of MHA. The 5 broad components of this reorganized cybercrime unit would include cyber threat analytics section, cyber range for training, awareness section, investigation section, and in-house advanced forensic section. All these capabilities are being housed in a dedicated cyber crime combating building based in Dwarka. We will be very soon inaugurating that. The capabilities of our advanced cyber forensic lab, which will be now a key node of National Cyber Forensic Lab ecosystem, formed under the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center of MHA, would include memory forensic, mobile forensic, capability to recover data from damaged hard disks, network forensics, cryptocurrency analytics, and malware forensics. Thank you.
Continuing with Special Branch, which provides critical inputs to the field units. It also provides services in the form of digital platform for PCC, that is police clearance certificates, character verification reports, etc. And emphasis is laid on time-bound delivery. And this year too, the MEA provided a certificate of recognition for the pairing among the top 3 states for passport seva. In operations, Raftar patrols were introduced, and the PCR, the 912 strong fleet of PCR vans attended to about 32.8 lakh calls. PCR calls pertaining to crimes were also taken into account. In fact, besides the registration of cases, while designing the picketing and patrolling system. And the patrolling pattern has been revamped. And in fact, in an in-house exercise conducted by the operations unit, in a sample size of about 5,000 messages that was sent to gauge the feedback of the people making the calls. The results were quite encouraging. In fact, about the exercise was conducted on 4 parameters as quickness of response, effectiveness, patience, and behavior, etc. And about 75% of people, they rated the services by the PCR as well as the field units as excellent or very good. So, in fact, this is the public perception survey will be a further step, but this is an effort already being made to assess the quality of services that is being offered and make required changes wherever possible. These are the headlines that are there for various groups besides the number 100. And a number of initiatives are being taken for modernization of PCR. The major one being the establishment of ERSS 112 control room. Besides the new mobile control room van and other things are in pipeline. Security is a round-the-year challenge which was again tackled very successfully during the year, and fail-proof security arrangements were provided to 1,580 PVIP functions during the year. The functions were of various dignitaries and visiting foreign heads of states and government. And all these arrangements were made very successfully without any problem, without any hitch. In fact, a significant law and order and security arrangement was the funeral procession of late Prime Minister Shri Bihari Vajpayee, which was meticulously planned despite all the effort had to be made very quickly. It was meticulously planned and executed. A lot of emphasis is laid on the training of security personnel in this regard. And besides their special skill set requirements, training is also given in soft skills as well as other facilities required to respond in crisis situations. CCTNS project was another project in which we made a quantum improvement during the year. And as you can see, we shared it with you earlier also, that since September this year, we implemented the new version of CAS. And with this, manual road NAMCHA is discarded. Now the server is online, the NAMCHA is online, and the time it picks up is directly from the server. So policing in this sense, in this regard, is made more transparent and more effective. And CCTNS will further cut down processes and improve the investigative process, cutting down the duplicacy of work and in fact improving investigation with better databases and better search programs. And all these, in fact, this is being integrated with our Dial 100 MV theft EFIR, property theft EFIR. All these systems are integrated with the CCTNS with proper validation and digitization of data. And with all the PCR calls now coming directly from one source, now you don't have to duplicate on the NAMCHA, they come directly onto this thing. And these are the SMS services which are being provided on registration of complaint, on registration of FIR, and for timely filing of charge sheet. These are for the complainants as well as the police officers. On our citizen portal, we are providing 9 citizen services as per MH's direction. And besides this, another 16 services are being provided, which make the total number of services being provided on our citizen portal to 25. Another significant step that was taken this year was facial recognition system, which will have a number of applications in missing and found children and UIDs. And besides some facilities will be available on it to the public also. And besides this,